Hello, friend. What plans do you have to start living your retired life? We all deserve to start living. We've earned it. I'm 67 years old, and there are so many things I would love to explore. Painting, sewing, designing clothes, you name it. Anything creative. And of course, my grandsons, spending a lot of time with them. Maybe meeting some new friends and just going out there and one of the things I love to do is go out and take walks at the park. But the most important thing for me is my health. So that includes my diet, exercise. Walking is no issue. I just go out and walk. Even when it's cold, I will go outside and take a walk. Do you remember how hectic life was for decades before we retired? When I think back in my life, I never put myself first. There were so many things I should have done, but there was never enough time. I've always done what people expected me to do. It was never about me having a happy quality life. It was about getting married, having kids, serving my husband and my kids. It was never about me. That's how I was raised. I never pursued my dreams or my passions. When I got married, my whole life had changed. I no longer had any freedom. I was just like my mother. I put my husband first and I became his servant. When I was a single mom, I put my daughter first. However, my daughter gave me a lot of joy, so I never looked at being a single mom as work. She gave me a lot of joy and happiness. I put my job first, working long hours, and often had very long commutes, as much as 3.5 hours a day. When I think about that now, it just sounds so crazy. How did I ever manage that? I eventually started a business over 20 years ago, and still I worked long hours. If you've owned a business, you know that the commitment is even higher and more demanding than working for someone else. You want to be successful. In order to be successful, you have to work like a dog and long hours, and I did that for the entire time of my business. When my mother was dying, she asked me to take care of my father, and I took care of him for 12 years. 12 long years. And I was only in my 30s. So again, I had no life. I didn't have my own life. My life was my daughter, which I didn't mind taking care of my daughter. She was the joy of my life. But my father was and has always been a male chauvinist. And my mother was basically his servant. So I became his servant. I even asked him if he would take my daughter to school in the mornings and pick her up, which the school was maybe 2 blocks away. He could have walked there or drove there, but he refused. He would always say, "I'm retired." And he did absolutely nothing for me. But I was lucky because I had neighbors that took her to school, not my father. I did everything for him. I cooked, I cleaned, I paid all the bills. I paid him rent. I paid for all the food. I paid for all the utilities, everything. And he never appreciated me. I could have been better off living on my own. It wouldn't have cost me any more money to live on my own. And that's what I should have done. I should have put myself first. I lived in the hustle culture, and I'm sure you can relate to that. It was very similar to how so many people lived. It was like a badge of honor to work long hours, have long commutes. And looking back, I think there's nothing prideful about having most of your life devoted to your employer. The good news is it's all behind me. And now I'm going to start living the life that I want. And again, I'm not completely sure what that's going to be, but I do love art. I do love nature. I do love going to the park, and mostly I love being around my grandsons. But I also need to have some balance and have a social life. Let me know what your plans are living in your retirement to start living a wonderful life. Speaking of grandkids, be sure to watch my last video about the joy of being a grandparent. I'm sure you can relate to that, so I hope you watch it. Until next time, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.